District Attorney says deputies who fatally shot Andrew Brown Jr. were justified.
District Attorney Andrew Womble said Tuesday that the deputies who fatally shot Andrew Brown Jr. last month were justified in using deadly force, saying Brown recklessly drove at the officers on scene while trying to flee arrest. Mr. Brown's death, while tragic, was justified because Mr. Brown's actions caused 3 deputies to reasonably believe it was necessary to use deadly force to protect themselves and others, Womble said. In response, attorneys for the family of Brown, a 42-year-old black man, called the decision not to charge the officers an insult and a slap in the face. Brown was shot twice, including once in the back of the head, by Pasquotank County Sheriff's deputies in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, on April 21 when they attempted to serve 2 felony warrants and a search warrant, Womble said. The killing has led to protests in Elizabeth City against police violence and the authorities' lack of transparency in declining to release the videos publicly. The FBI has separately announced a federal civil rights investigation. In coming to his decision, Womble relied on an investigative report into the shooting conducted by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. That report is not considered a public record and will not be publicly released, the FBI said.
Womble also played 4 body camera videos to the public for the first time on Tuesday. The footage showed the entirety of the incident, which lasts 44 seconds from the time officers exit their vehicle to the time Brown is removed from his. He said Brown's driving constituted a threat and justified the officers' decision to shoot at him, and he offered an expansive interpretation of what officers are legally allowed to do. When you employ a car in a manner that puts officers' lives in danger, that is a threat, Womble said. And I don't care what direction you're going, forward, backwards, sideways. I don't care if you're stationary, and neither do our courts and our case law. His legal conclusion is a stark contrast to commentary from Brown's family and their attorneys, who have said the same body camera and dashcam videos show Brown was trying to drive away from officers and was not a threat. They have called the killing an execution. Family attorneys Ben Crump, Bakery Sellers, Harry Daniels and Chantel Cherry Lassiter issued a statement Tuesday saying the DA tried to whitewash the killing. To say this shooting was justified, despite the known facts, is both an insult and a slap in the face to Andrew's family, the Elizabeth City community, and to rational people everywhere, they said. Not only was the car moving away from officers, but 4 of them did not fire their weapons. Clearly they did not feel that their lives were endangered. And the bottom line is that Andrew was killed by a shot to the back of the head. Interestingly, none of these issues were appropriately addressed in today's press conference. The attorneys demanded the court release both the report and the full body camera videos.
The videos show that uniformed law enforcement officers arrived in a marked police truck to arrest Brown and surrounded him as he sat inside his vehicle. They ordered him to stop the car, Womble said, but Brown instead reversed his car into a corner, pulling a deputy who was trying to open the car door off his feet. Brown then accelerated forward in his attempt to flee, forcing the deputy to jump out of the way and use his arm to push away from the vehicle, the videos show. After Brown's vehicle drove toward the deputy, a sergeant on scene then fired into the front window, the videos show. The car continued forward, and officers fired several more shots at Brown from the side and through the back windshield, he said. Brown's vehicle accelerated across a vacant lot and drove at another officer sitting in an unmarked police vehicle, which accelerated to avoid a collision, Womble said. Brown's vehicle finally came to a rest against a tree, and the officers removed Brown and called for emergency services, he said. A total of 14 shell casings were found on scene, including from 2 Glock handguns and an AR-15 style rifle, Womble said. One of the shots hit the vehicle and ricocheted into a house, he said. An autopsy conducted by Dr. Karen L. Kelly, a forensic pathologist, found Brown was shot twice, once in the shoulder and once in the back of the head. The bullet to his head splintered into 3 pieces, so Womble was not able to determine which of the officers fired the fatal shot. He said the speed at which the car was moving was not relevant in his decision, noting that Brown was surrounded on all sides by officers. There was no escape but at the police officers. "You are not allowed to run over police officers," Womble said. The officers arrived on scene knowing that Brown had previous convictions for resisting arrest, Womble said. In addition, Womble alleged that a plastic bag containing a substance consistent with crystal meth was found in his mouth after his death. In the aftermath of the shooting, Pasquotank Sheriff Tommy Wooten put 7 deputies on administrative leave. He has since reinstated 4 deputies he said did not fire their weapons. The 3 who did fire remain on leave.